Welcome to this week's Work the Left Side. I am joined. It's our equivalent of the Death Triangle. We are the trios. We have Mr. Ryan Palmer, the man with one name, Ash, and obviously himself. Apologies. So yeah, it's the end of the year show. We are going to look back and see what was good. Not really going to focus on what was bad. We might just do a worst moment or a shitty thing of the year, but just going to be focusing more on the good stuff. So best wrestler, best female wrestler, best promo, best match, blah blah blah. You know, this goes very generic episode, but it will be fun. So
yes, it will.
Let's start at the very top. We have been running polls on Facebook to get people's votes and see what they're thinking. We'll start off with the first poll that around best wrestler of 2022. I think most of them I gave like 10 options, and I tried to be half and half between AEW, WWE, and a couple of New Japan guys, because I figured they would be the majority of the answers on people's heads. So I thought this would be between Bryan Danielson and Roman Reigns. That's who my top two picks were for this one.
Really?
So should I read out the poll?
Yeah, just give us the top three and we'll discuss.
All right. I was going to read out the options and then I'll do that then.
Read the options and then read out the winner.
Yeah, go for that.
Fair enough. So the options were Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, MJF, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Will Ospreay, Sheamus, and Matt Cardona as an outside shout. Seth Rollins, Will Ospreay, and Matt Cardona got nil points, which is unfortunate. The top three ended up being third place, Bryan Danielson, second place, Jon Moxley, first place, guess who? Mr. Head of the Table, Roman Reigns. Yeah, which you just knew was going to happen from the moment the poll was created, really.
I guess character-wise, yeah, the character has been spot on. He's still doing his gaslighting, his manipulating of his cousins, and the manipulation of Sami Zayn as well. He's kind of like, he's welcomed Sami Zayn in, but you know he's got one eye and thinking, we're gonna fucking do you, and it's gonna break everyone's heart. So it's kind of a wonder why Sami wasn't in that list as well. And he's carried both belts as well. It's like, I mean, it's not like he's having stellar matches with them though. That one with Lesnar was all right, where he tipped up the ring. That was
loads of fun.
That was loads of fun.
Fucking tractor just picking up the ring, like what? Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's having nothing has to be star rated or anything, but he's not having 5-star matches. They're all kind of WWE story based matches that he's having. So I wouldn't have picked him for my wrestler of the year from that list, but you can see why, given those reasons and given how it's been presented for his the past year and the past however many days he's held those titles as well.
Like sort of said, for me, Danielson's been pound for pound the best wrestler. I think he's had some banging matches this year, but again, he's not been presented like Reigns is next level in his presentation. When he's got, I've got to be careful what I say here because I've said it numerous times. I watched the Rumble, and I only started watching WWE again at sort of Extreme Rules, so I'm very much out of the loop when it comes to WWE stuff. Ash, you got any thoughts on it? Who did you vote for, and what would be?
So my wrestler of the year wasn't even in the poll because he's a tag team wrestler. So I just feel like Dax Harwood's had the absolute best year. Personally, like all these matches that he's had on Dynamite and stuff. the CM Punk one, and he's had too many to name. Like he smashes it. He really smashes it. He's just in the absolute prime of his career, and that obviously shows in his singles and his tag team work. But out of the list that I've got here, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, just because, like, I don't know, it's just his character's not for me, I suppose. But I'd have to say, from what he's gone through and what he's done this year, it's Jon Moxley, really. Going into rehab, recognizing you have a problem, fixing said problem, coming back from problem better than ever, looking like an absolute killing machine, and then obviously the whole, he won the title twice in quick succession, carrying the company on his back, all that kind of stuff. BCC, that match with Bryan Danielson before the BCC was formed. I can't really look past him, to be honest with you, but that's from just like standing back and just taking it all in. What's this guy done this year, kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I like from my heart, like, Danielson's obviously awesome. We haven't really seen enough of like multiple people that could have been in this list, like obviously Malachi Black and Miro and stuff. They've just been doing their own stuff, or Miro's been doing absolutely nothing, weirdly. But I feel like Sheamus definitely deserves a shout out. He's had the best year of his career, in my opinion. So yeah, I'll leave it at that before I waffle for too long.
But yeah, I mean, I tried to sort of branch it out. I did think about putting Dax in there because he said he's had some absolute banging matches.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought as a whole, as a presentation for the singles wrestler, it was like, single storylines and the matches and sort of feuds and stuff like that. So even though Dax has had like 4 or 5 banging matches, it was all, they were kind of exhibition matches, more than like storyline or anything like that over a 12-month period.
Yeah.
So I do agree,
that's
man. The guy's been awesome. But yeah, so Reigns got our wrestler of the year. Not overly surprised. As much as I do love AEW, I know obviously WWE's got the bigger fan base, and I think that's going to show with the result of the tag team poll, the best tag team of the year. For me, this was a 2-horse race. Actually, can read out the options, but for me, this was always going to be a 2-horse race between FTR and the Usos.
Right, yeah. So the options were Aussie Open, Lucha Brothers, New Day, the Young Bucks, the Acclaimed, the Usos, the Briscoes, and FTR. And Briscoes got 1 vote. The Usos, FTR came second with, I can't really see how many, but like plenty more votes. But then the winners were the Usos, and all the other tag teams got no votes whatsoever. So yeah, the Usos are topping this poll, which kind of I can understand. It's the whole bloodline thing. It's front and center, isn't it? Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's really talking about the matches. It's all the character and the storyline of the bloodline. And yeah, it's that thing we spoke about on the last video. It's just like sometimes the character and the story just completely outweighs what's going on in the ring, if anything's going on in the ring. So that's the same with Roman, really. He's being displayed as this absolute kingpin, and it's working, whereas he's not really doing much wrestling. So yeah, whatever.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on this then? I'm going to enjoy watching your facial expressions on these guys.
To be fair, it's a fucking hell of a list. Those tag teams were mentioned are absolutely awesome. You've got the Briscoes having absolute wars with FTR. I'm pretty sure in every match they've had, they've been busted open in all of them. Aussie Open have been absolutely stellar all year as well.
Mm-hmm. Their match against FTR was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding match. Well, New Day, I don't know. They're probably the outliers. I don't know why they're in there really.
The WWE tag team, there's anyone I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah, they are now recently Triple Crown Tag Team Champions because they've just went down to NXT and won the NXT tag titles as well. So
wow. FTR did that first, though. FTR did that first.
Yeah.
And then the Street Profits did it, and then New Day did it. But,
New Day.
Kofi's won like loads of freaking championships as well now because he's a Triple Crown champion for singles. I think he might be a Grand Slam champion for singles, and the Triple Crown champion for tag teams, and he's won loads of championships. He might have won the most championships in WWE at the time of recording. But yeah, the Usos, they're aligned with the head of the table. Again, as you say, no one's talking about what matches though. Again, storyline based. You can understand why they're being voted for instead of like a team like FTR with their in-ring work. You've got Dax who can split from being a tag team wrestler, doing his single stuff, and impressing there without a hint of they're going to break the team up, and he slips back into the tag team role effortlessly. Again, wars with the Briscoes, wars with the Bucks, wars with the Lucha Brothers. The Lucha Brothers themselves are in this group, so it's a very impressive, tough group. But for FTR not to come out the top team, the polls a bit mystifying, but again, understandable, I suppose. That's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, WWE is just a juggernaut, isn't it? And let's be fair, AEW is a 3-year-old company, so it's always going to be very one-sided when it comes to, unless you're like a real fan that goes out the way to watch as much as possible, which I guess we all are as much as we can. But yeah,
it's not all sour grapes. We're not moaning or whinging or anything.
Oh no.
No, I mean, it's all selective, isn't it? I mean, we've got to agree with some of them, disagree with some of them, but yeah, for me, this wasn't even. I should have just declared FTR best tag team in the world for this year without even having a poll on it. Personally,
hands down.
It's the match, just the match qualities. There might have been some people, namely Mick, will say that they've been underutilized on AEW. I don't think they have. I think they've just allowed them to go out and do other stuff elsewhere. And Dax has shone in AEW, so maybe that's have him shine in AEW and have FTR go out and about elsewhere and do the tag team stuff a bit more. But like I say, it was nice to actually be able to list 8 or 10 tag teams for a change. But yeah, I kind of had to. I didn't know if the Street Profits were still together. I'd heard rumblings the Viking Raiders were back, but obviously they've been AWOL for so long I couldn't include them. I didn't really want to include Alpha Academy because both guys are amazing, but they don't get utilised or pushed as a credible tag team. I don't think. Like I said, I haven't watched it all year, so I don't know. That's the problem.
On the indie circuit, the UK indie circuit that I've been watching, there's a couple of tag teams that are really, really good. Got a team called Crash Boat. Jake Silver and Jack Bandicoot.
Yeah.
They're really,
Jack
really good.
Bandicoot, that's a great name.
Jack Bandicoot. Jake Silver looks like a mini Trent Seven. Jack Bandicoot, he's like yay high and he's really, really fast, and they're both really, really good. They've got excellent chemistry. The other tag team. There was one show where they. Against the guys who I'm going to talk about on the North Wrestling show, they were going for the North Tag Team Championships, the inaugural North Tag Team Championships, and they came to the ring on an inflatable dinghy. The crowd was like surfing to the ring. It was really funny. Against their opponent's boisterous behaviour, made up of Leon Slater and Man Like the Reese. That match was like a half hour of just pure speed and energy and high spots and 3Ds and double 450s. It was absolutely insane match.
Leon Slater and Dorita, they actually got a tag team name, and they actually nice tag team as well, yeah.
Boisterous Behaviours there.
They were awesome. Because like I double checked, but it is them versus the Rascals in Lincoln.
I can't wait to see that match.
So yeah, and you shouted out Jack Bandicoot on something I posted the other day for True Grit Wrestling, because it's Jack Bandicoot versus somebody, and you said that would be the match of the night.
Jet Martial. Yeah, that's actually really good. Jet Martial is a really good talent as well. I've only seen one match of his, but the match I saw it was against Warhorse.
Warhorse.
Leon Slater on that match, on that card, should be really good as well, like you say.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his opponent's name, but yeah, that for me looks like it could be a technical masterclass. So I think it's good. The actual card itself looks pretty awesome for an assortment of different things. And I'm pretty certain Flash Morgan Webster is going to be on there as well, based on the other posts released. So that'd be nice to see him.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Right, it's 2-0 to WWE at the minute, obviously, with the bloodline also.
Yeah. Before we continue, Nick, Logan's just messaged. Would you like to add him to the chat?
I'll get him called. We'll see if he joins.
Oh yes. So I've got the best female wrestler lined up for when Logan's hopefully joined us.
A new challenger has arrived.
You can go through the list if you want, dude. It's fine. I'll find it.
Yeah, man. Right.
Apologies if my finger's just scrolling up the screen at the minute.
Okay, so best female wrestler, the list goes as Serena Deeb, Asuka, Toni Storm, Bayley, Thunder Rosa, Rhea Ripley, Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch. So the top three, let me just work this out. That's a close call. I literally feel like Jamie Hayter and Becky Lynch are tied third. I can't tell any difference. That's my art. And then in second place is Rhea Ripley, who was my personal choice. She is Pappy. She's Pappy. And Bianca Belair was come out on top. So yeah, again, WWE.
Again, I can't say too much because I would I had to sort of hazard a guess at who was at the top of the chain when it came to female wrestlers in WWE. I presumed, Bianca Belair will still be there. I know Becky's just come back recently because I've started watching it again, so I've seen her return. I obviously saw the women's elimination War Games match, so I know Asuka's kicking about still.
Yeah.
So yeah, but obviously I threw Jamie Hayter in there because she's the EAW. My God.
Yeah, man.
AEW.
Oh, dude, yeah, them. The company I love so much, I can't even fucking remember the name. But yeah, I think she's had a banging year. We've talked about her numerous times this year. So I thought, I'm glad Hayter got a few votes. I'm glad she's got as many votes as Becky got.
Yeah, definitely. She's had a great year, and I'm looking forward to this title reign.
What do you say, Ryan? What do you think about this? About Bianca Belair?
I've got no real qualms about that. She managed to win her title back from Becky. That was always on the cards. She could do with maybe improving on my skills. Some of her promos are a bit
questionable.
I guess questionable. I think my favourite would have been split between Hayter and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley got chosen by Edge to join in this faction, and people are just like, what the fuck is this shit? And she's emerged from it the better for it. She's
the star.
The leader of that group. Yeah, she's the absolute.
She's the star, man. I fucking love that.
Like our generations or the new generations, China, I guess. She's fucking better than China. I don't care what anyone says. Absolutely better than China. And she should absolutely use the catchphrase or the name Rhea Bloody Ripley. The Australian accent that she's got. Hayter, again, she's always been in the background, being the muscle for Britt Baker. She's emerged from Britt Baker's shadow. She's captured the title. She's now the AEW Women's Champion. Hopefully, AEW do something with her and do something with the women's division as well. So I mean, that my selections would be split between those two, I guess.
I think I didn't add in there, which I should have done, but I haven't really watched Impact much this year. Jordynne Grace. That's always been you've got to mention. I think with females, she's just obviously constantly good at what she does. From what I have seen of her, yeah, she's quality. I just hadn't seen enough of her to be able to put her in there. So apologies for that, but obviously she's somebody who gets an honourable mention. It's just being one of the best anyway. So same with Serena Deeb. I think I put her in there because she, for me, is probably pound for pound one of the best female wrestlers. Obviously, just not utilised as much in AEW story-wise. She's there. She's the professor. They use her when they need to use her, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. She's probably the best technically the best wrestler of the lot. But again, like she's just doing her thing or whatever.
That's it, exactly. So yeah, and obviously I don't know if Britt Baker would get a bit of support, a bit of love, just because of how much the character has come on in the last 3 years. I think she is now the complete package. Her in-ring work has caught up with her character, and I think she's as good as she's going to get now, and that's quite high anyway.
Certainly is. She's awesome. But I think Rhea Ripley was my choice just because she's so damn entertaining and she looks really good in leather.
And no offense to Jade Cargill, but she looks the job, but she still hasn't had a match yet to convince me that should even be with a chance.
The thing with Jade Cargill is they put her with a group and they keep putting her with people. I think she's better off if she stood out on her own. You got the baddies. You had her with Marky Smart, whatever his name was, Sterling.
And it's funky one.
You had him, Kira Hogan. Just like, I don't know, maybe try and do something where she's not with other people.
Give it time. She'll get there because, like I say, she looks the fucking bee's knees. So it is only going to be a matter of time before the ring work catches up with it, kind of thing. So
I'm just trying to add Logan, mate. He's messaging me again, so I'm just going to see if I can add him, if that's okay.
I'm calling him, so leave it. So I got it. What was next then? Actually, no, I'll do a quick shout out to, just because I feel like I've besmirched Jade a little bit with the in-ring work ability. I do always appreciate the cosplay at pay-per-views when she comes out.
She-Hulk. She was She-Hulk.
She was Chitara at the last pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, she was.
And it was like, wow, that was awesome. That was just so random. And she's been, I can never always get mixed up. It's either Melina or the other one from Mortal Kombat.
Jade from Mortal Kombat, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And she's done Storm from X-Men before, I believe. True. Yeah, so what's next? I do wonder. Yeah, she's got the X factor as like a star, but obviously the in-ring still very much a work in progress, as we've discussed before. So yeah.
I am calling Logan, but for some reason it just keeps coming up that he's unavailable. So.
Oh man.
Don't know. So what is next on the?
So it was.
So it's 3-0. Just to clarify, it's 3-0 at the minute. So Rhea Ripley, Usos, and Reigns.
So the best promotion of 2022. So it's a short list. WWE, AEW, New Japan, and Impact. And Impact got 1 vote, New Japan no votes, and then way out in front, AEW in second, and just shading it, to be fair, very, very close. WWE comes out on top, which I disagree with completely.
The fact that I stopped watching it for 10 months.
I started watching it for years, mate. Yeah.
Thoughts, Ryan?
Absolute shit that they were putting out for the best part of this whole fucking year.
Yep.
That gets voted best promotion. Oh, fuck off. I would say, well, AEW is a lot better than WWE. Although at the moment AEW is on a bit of a, doesn't know what it's doing. It's kind of, it's presenting TV shows with a lot of stuff packed in, and then it forgets loads of stuff, and Tony Khan seems to like buy loads of new guys and present them on the TV and then forgets about them. It's very booked scatological at the moment, apart from his main toys, the Blackpool Combat Club, the JAS. But then, even so, the JAS and the Blackpool Combat Club are all kind of embroiled in feuds, and sometimes some of the feuds get forgotten. And I'd say it's been booked more, even though it's been scatological, it's been booked more consistently good and better than WWE has for the best part of the year. I think there may be recency bias of a lot of those votes because Triple H is coming and taking over the creative process in WWE the latter part of the year, and improved it slightly. Hasn't improved it greatly, he's improved it slightly. There's longer matches, there aren't any stupid roll-up finishes anymore, not many. Or distraction finishes, or stupid matches that get thrown out because of stupid disqualifications. But they still do tend to happen, but people have got like recency blindness, so they're all, that could be why they voted for them. Vote for them. I would say, I mean, for a top 3, although I stopped watching them, I've stopped watching Impact for a while. I think it was the wrong. It just out of, not deliberately stopped watching them. I just couldn't keep up anymore.
Time,
yeah, and it was at the wrong time because it was around about Joe Hendry's debut as well. But fuck. So up to that point, Impact was really good, and they were knocking out decent pay-per-views, and you had Violent by Design killing people, and now Eric Young's dead. Apparently he got stabbed. You had all sorts of shit going on. I want to say that my top 3 would have been AEW, Impact, then WWE at a certain point during the year. Now, I guess it would be like AEW, then a long drop off, then WWE, then I don't know. Another, like the promotion that I'm watching or involved in up here, the local promotion, like Northwest. But yeah, again, rambling aside, it's understandable as to why people have voted them as number 1.
Yeah, I do think it's like through Triple H tinted goggles. Like I say, it has improved the last couple of months. I started watching the pay-per-views again. I started watching the highlights of Raws and SmackDowns on 5-star. You know, it's great to see matches actually get the finish, clean pinfalls. You know, you've had the Sheamus Walter match at the Castle. Actually, you had Seth Rollins versus Cody prior to that. So you had 2 5-star matches within sort of close succession to each other. And you're seeing guys like I said, just Chad Gable, Johnny Gargano on the main roster. Ricochet's getting a bit of a push. So I think, yeah, it's definitely a feel-good time at the minute with WWE. That all these guys that was like, oh, bollocks, man, why are they not using them? They're being used at the minute. And that's making everybody very happy. So, yeah, I mean, for the first 10 months of the year, for me, it was drizzling shits. So this again shouldn't have been close.
Yeah, like it could only be a good thing having Mr. McMahon. I don't want to say his name, but I'm going to have to. Like, just it's not a good thing having Mr. McMahon anywhere near your company. So the best thing that happened there was that he stepped back, which might not last too much longer. Apparently, ooh, spooky times. So it definitely took a massive upturn. Like, wrestlers were allowed to be more creative and have the kind of matches that they wanted, less screwiness and less goofiness. Like, and that resulted in 2 amazing matches that you just mentioned, Nick. So, I'm exactly the same as you. I used to watch weekly, but just kind of got a bit disillusioned and a bit bored. It was very stale and stuff. But now I'm back to watching the clips, and I watch the premium live events. Although for the War Games, I only watched the War Games matches. I should go back and watch what was in the middle of it, but I did only watch the War Games matches.
Watch the Finn AJ match. That was all right. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
it wasn't as good as it could have been. It wasn't, you know, it was the whole Nakamura AJ situation again, where, you know, in your head these guys can do like a 7-star match, and anything less than that is like, oh, okay. But it was a good WWE match for me.
Yeah. Clash at the Castle was like my first proper like WWE event watching for quite some time, like quite a lot of years. Maybe like WrestleMania a couple of years ago. Like I watched bits and pieces, but I was really excited for Clash at the Castle, and it was a really good show. But I was reminded how like grandiose the production is, and I was sat there watching these like 25-minute video packages, just like fucking wrestle. Come on. But yeah, Extreme Rules was good also. I skipped Crown Jewel because, you know, principles, and yeah, War Games, like I've just mentioned. So yeah.
But yeah, there we go, WWE. So 4-0. So
clean sweep.
It's going to be. Yeah, because I was thinking about putting the. I didn't run a poll for this, but I've been trying to rack my brain for the last few days. I want to see if you two guys remember any for the year. Sort of best promo. You know, the first one that I remember, I don't know if it's because it's really recent, was the MJF Regal promo. Just because that was everything that a promo should be for me. You know, when MJF was talking, they were booing Regal. Regal managed to flip him. They were cheering him and booing MJF. And it was just 2 guys talking who just held your attention and just got the points across. You know, they ticked all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of MJF, CM Punk stuff during that feud. That was this year, wasn't it? It wasn't last year.
Yeah.
Definitely this year.
Yeah.
But the MJF, you fucking Mark, that one.
Oh yeah. I fucking hate working here.
One where he goes out. The one where he's he's in a promo battle with CM Punk, and he talks about himself being like a kid that got disillusioned with wrestling, and he got bullied and because he was a Jew and stuff. And CM Punk was just like off mic, but holding the mic. Was that true? Was that true? Just walks off. That was a really good fucking promo.
That was the dog collar match, wasn't it? That's kind of leading up to it. Yeah.
I'm better than Piper in Portland and kind of shit. MJF has been solid all year, man. Fucking hell. Especially in that CM Punk feud. Pity CM Punk kind of fucking spoiled it all, but.
But yeah. I mean, obviously, I was just thinking about the Regal one, but you totally forgot earlier in the year. Yeah, you had to build up to the whole CM Punk, MJF, those two guys. You know, I can't fault either of them on the mic. They've got to be up there as being promos of the year. The only one that I think, if I did put it to a vote, would have won is Sami Zayn. You know, the Usi one.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
And again, I couldn't be mad if it did.
Yeah.
I just love Sami Zayn, and the fact that he managed to break every single person in that ring in front of like 40,000 people, and
so
they
funny.
just.
It's weird. I'm sure he said Usi like a couple of weeks before, and it didn't get that much of a reaction. It was so strange. But then he said it in the ring, and it's like everyone died. The crowd ate up.
The look on Roman's face where he just looks back at him and goes, oh, right, he just said that and now I'm done.
Not even Romans, but they're not Jay, the other one. I can never remember the other brother, Jimmy. He's literally, his face like when he's trying to be mad, it's like, and then every now and again his hand would go up and you see his shoulders going. And he'd be like,
I'm supposed to be angry and mean now, but I'm laughing. Really.
Every now and again, it's like, oh my days. Yeah, Jimmy just broke. It was just like, wow. Sorry, Ash, go on.
I was going to mention while we're on about it, the Roman Reigns, the T-shirt thing with Sami Zayn. I thought that was just so fun. I watched that like so many times because it was just literally like just pure sports entertainment, and I was just laughing along with it. It was so good in its delivery. So yeah.
A T-shirt. Take that T-shirt off. Put this new one on.
Yeah.
Ricky Stark. We'll say MJF and Sami are the top two promo guys for this year.
Yeah.
I won't announce a single promo because I think there's been a few very, very good ones.
Moxley's always got the ability to like turn around a shitty program, pull you in with a promo.
The promo he did when he came back from rehab rings bells.
That's a good one. He slagged off the geezer. The geezer like, get that trash out of my ring. Hey, fuck you. Okay. That was funny. That promo in itself, that aside, was really. Moxley's always got a decent promo on him as well.
And obviously, Kingston, I think he's cut a few decent ones this year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't know if it was the end of last year or the start of this year when he had the feud with Punk. I think it may have been the tail end of last year.
Yeah, I think so. But
yeah, when you kind of had like Punk and Kingston in the ring. I think Kingston's cut a few decent promos this year as well. He normally does.
Looking back at what Kingston said to Punk, it was true, man. Nobody wants you here.
Jericho, Kingston and Jericho, that was this year. Kingston's promos when he was building the feud with Jericho, some of those were absolute belters.
Yeah, definitely. The man's so believable as well. Like, can't help but feel when he speaks.
Exactly. So, I think that was all I ran polls on, was just those three, wasn't it?
Was indeed, yeah.
I think the other ones were just kind of leaving out for us just to kind of like discuss certain things. I don't know if we sort of say best match of the year. I always find it really hard to pinpoint just like one match or just think of something. So I was just thinking like, between us, we'll probably say 2 or 3 matches and it'll be a good shout. I'm sure, you two. I haven't watched any of them yet. I know I need to. The FTR Briscoe matches, any one of the trilogy, or just...
Wow.
Anyone
so good, man.
Anyone. Yeah.
So good, so good. The first was awesome. Second was my personal favorite. Fucking brilliant. And then the third was just crazy good, but brutal. 3 entirely different types of matches. So good, man. So good. Masterpieces.
And that's why, again, FTR, should have won Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah.
So, but for me, one of the ones I want to do a shout out to was Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy from Forbidden Door.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
I think that was a very good match. I've watched it numerous times. I think I just liked it as well because I'm a massive fanboy for Orange Cassidy. I think the guy's just found a character nobody's done like ever, and I just respect the originality of it all. And I think the guy's just amazing at what he does. And to go toe to toe with Will Ospreay and be on level pegging with him speaks volumes for the guy's ability.
Yeah, dude, I loved that show, and that match was my favorite match on the show. That was probably my favorite pay-per-view of the year, to be fair. That's what I've got written down here. I loved Forbidden Door. I thought it was awesome from start to finish. Like, I loved the All Atlantic title match. Was it Malachi Black, Miro, Pac, and Clark Connors from New Japan? Was that right?
Some cowboy looking dude, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Rhino person. He's got like a nickname of the White Rhino or something like that. That was awesome. It was great. We watched it together. You came around to mine, didn't you, dude? We watched it. It was
banging on that pay-per-view.
Fucking sick, dude. It was so much fun. So yeah, and that was by far the best match on the card.
The 60-minute match between Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. I want to say that happened January, February.
Quite possibly, yeah. Was that on? That was on
Dynamite.
That was on Dynamite, wasn't it? Yeah.
60-minute draw. For a 60-minute match, like 5 times. It's just ridiculous.
Crazy good. And then they went another half an hour as well, didn't they? Not long after. A
couple of weeks later.
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic.
They would be my 3 shouts personally. So, do you guys?
Ryan?
Again, you got the second in the trilogy of FTR and the Briscoes. I think that's the best of the 3. The second best would be the one that's just gone, the third one.
Collar match.
That was an excellent match.
Something else altogether. Incredible.
Surprisingly, the Sheamus match, Walter match.
I still haven't watched it yet. I still need to watch it. That's why I can't mention it. But yeah.
Yeah. That's on my list. It's great match. So much fun. I'm all about the fun.
Oh yes. And then again, drifting back into local wrestling and indies. Liam Slater versus Rory Coyle, North Wrestling Championship match. That was a hell of a fucking war. There's a good story behind it where Liam Slater and Rory Coyle have had this rivalry brewing for like years and years and years in that promotion, and the main championships switch between the two of them over and over and over. And this one was like the very final time that they're ever going to fight for that championship again. This is like the more deadly, serious Liam Slater. He's not a fun boy anymore. He's the postmodern wrestler. His entrance music is by a band called Idols. It's called Never Trust a Man Never Fight a Man with a Perm. It's a killer track. Rory Coyle's like a maniac. He's like really hardcore, brings a sack of hardcore goodies to the ring, and they had a war of a match. Liam was busted wide open, completely covered in blood. won the championship, and immediately after he won the championship, he had stitches put in his head, the EMTs all over him, mopping up the blood, but he was like still cutting promos. North Wrestling again, the boisterous behaviour versus Crash Boat for the tag team championships. The crowd were completely and utterly loud for that match. The crowd were non-stop for it. And the reason being is that both teams put in an hell of an effort. Both those teams always do. All four guys put in a hell of an effort. All four guys have got chemistry with each other as singles wrestlers and as tag team wrestlers. It's a bit of a cultish kind of atmosphere. Everyone gets a cheer, the ring announcers get a cheer, the barman, the refs get a cheer, but above all, win or lose, the competitors get love from that crowd, and that match was just like one of the best tag team matches I've seen all year, bar the Briscoe FTR matches.
That's what I do love about the local shows, and I'm glad because you're able to sort of mention them, because I haven't been out this much this year. Well, I think it's just the scene in Leeds has been a bit quiet this year, so I haven't been able to get to many local sort of shows. Obviously, True Grit, give them a shout out. They've got a show coming up in January in Leeds, which I'll be going to, and then hopefully Tide will kick back in. And I can focus on those two, because it is, once you go there, you're there every month. You see the same faces. It becomes very like a massive family, and you're just cheering and shouting for everyone, and the atmosphere is awesome. So, I will check out. I presume North have got some YouTube stuff. A lot of the promotions seem to have.
I think Patreon, if anything. I don't think they've got a YouTube. They're definitely Patreon. YouTube, right. You can search on YouTube. I'm not too sure.
I'm sure there'll be some fun videos on there. I've heard quite a lot about North. I do want to check them out at some point. So I'll venture maybe
it's
after.
Like Progress of the North.
Nice. So Mr. Ash, you said you've got the Sheamus Walter match. Still not calling him Gunther.
To the bitter end, I will never.
I'm joking it. Gunther's the dude in Friends who serves the coffee.
God rest his soul.
That would be a fun match against Sheamus.
Gunther, so you've got that match. Did you watch the Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes match? I'm sure you did, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. The Hell in the Cell match, I assume you're talking about.
Yeah, the 5-star one.
Yeah. Wow. Like, obviously, you saw the pictures of Cody's what was it, a torn pec, right? The whole side of his body was just purple. It was crazy that he was even allowed to go and wrestle in such a match. It was so much guts in that performance from Cody, and the story wrote itself. And Seth Rollins is literally one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he carried the story and was a perfect villain as he ever is for somebody who's just like the white meat baby face like Cody Rhodes is. But yeah, it was emotional. Every time Cody went down, like clutching his arm or whatever, I'm just like, what are you doing? Crazy people. But yeah, it was so good, and the fact that Cody ended up winning basically with one arm didn't hurt Seth one bit, so it was fucking fantastic. Really, really, really impressive.
I will say this about WWE at the minute: it seems to be that they're realizing people can take losses and it doesn't damage them. They don't have to protect them with, like, sort of say, run-ins or DQs or questionable finishes.
Shenanigans,
yeah, Gaga. You can take a loss. I look at MJF, who got squashed by Wardlow middle of the year. Now he's world champ.
Yeah, absolutely. And that squash fed into the the story that those guys have been creating for 2 years or so. Wardlow was MJF's little sidekick and stuff, so it worked for me. I thought it was the best way to go.
Just as a big up as well, going back to the MJF Regal promo that I mentioned earlier, the fact that was all done pretty much on a pivot, very probably on the day or within very, very little planning because of the whole CM Punk situation. Because MJF and Regal and Moxley wouldn't have crossed paths if Punk was the champ. So that must have all been done very much on the fly, as a last minute, like shit, we need a story. Bang, there we go.
Yeah, true that. I was trying to think if there's any other matches maybe that need a little shout out. I can't think of any off the top of my head at the moment. But let's just go with another FTR match. It was the Aussie Open FTR match at the New Japan show in London. What was it called? Royal Quest.
Royal Quest.
Yeah.
That was fucking excellent.
They were just knocking out 5-star matches for fun.
Yeah.
Around that period.
Effortless.
Yeah.
I think the first Swerve and Our Glory versus the Acclaimed match was a very good story match as well. That was kind of like, you legitimately thought the Acclaimed were finally going to win the title. They didn't. But it was a good sort of 15-20 minute match, just storytelling.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that very much. Was MJF and CM Punk dog collar match, was that this year?
Yes.
That's
like March, April time, wasn't it? Because that's when Wardlow sort of betrayed him. So I think that's February or March time, that pay-per-view.
I'm just looking now. Revolution 2022. So it would have been like February, March. You are absolutely bang on the money there, Mr. Towers.
Wardlow would have squashed MJF at about May or June time. So every 3 months, aren't they, the pay-per-views?
Yeah.
And that's when MJF went AWOL for 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. So that match absolutely deserves a mention within this conversation.
It's been a good match, good year. I think, obviously, like I say, I can only speak really for one company, but I think that's what I will say about AEW. The pay-per-views are you generally got at least 3 or 4 very memorable matches on the pay-per-views for me. It's quite easy just to pick. Be like, yeah, that was a very good match. That was a very good match.
Yeah.
The talent just. Recently the very first trios matches between Aussie Open and Will Ospreay versus Death Triangle, and then Death Triangle versus the Elite at Full Gear.
Yeah,
those 2 matches deserve a shout as well.
Loving these matches so far with the best of 7.
Yeah. So I think they are. It's that much talent, and there's a hell of a lot of good matches. So, but we've picked AEW ones, we've picked WWE ones, we've got local shows as well. That's awesome. Do we do a? Well, I don't even think it's a poll, really. I was going to say, do we do a fuck up of 2022? And if we did, it's got to be Punk, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has to be.
Far away.
Fucking hell, I don't understand how he's. I never knew he was like that. It's just like you had Eddie Kingston coming out saying that he's a bit of a dodgy one backstage. Then Cowboy, and he was just like, what the fuck's going on? And then it turns out, he just wanted to fucking run his mouth for no reason at a fucking press conference. And then from there, it just nosedived. It's like, oh, crap.
The guy had just won the world title, and instead of celebrating, he sat there and buried everybody that the company was initially built around. And I will never, ever understand the mindset. Like, he was just a grumpy old bastard, and like, I just don't get it. But yeah, missed opportunity. But he's still contracted to AEW, guys, and the longer this goes on, the more and more I believe that he's going to make a return.
Do you not think they're just going to making him run out his contract?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, like when it first happened, I was just like, just get him gone, just cut ties, see you later, toodle pip, bye bye. But then it's been 3-4 months since it happened. The guy's still contracted. All the news, it was like being said that it was being like finalities were being negotiated between Tony Khan for the release of CM Punk. It's still not happened. Obviously, the guy he tore his pec as well, didn't he? Right, very popular injury this year. So he's going to be out for 7 or 8, 9 months with that anyway. So I don't know, man. I just feel like the longer it goes on,
I just think you risk pissing people off. There's definitely money to be made. And if
CM Punk versus Kenny Omega for one, yeah. Holy shit.
That's it. But yeah, I mean, if Punk holds his hands up and says, "Yeah, I was a massive twat. Let's do this. Let's make some money," people might get on board. But from TK's point of view, I think it's a once bitten, nah, get out. It's not even a twice shy. It's like, no, dude, I can't risk this. Basically, he made TK a laughing joke after that press conference. So
yeah. Wasn't a good look for him to just sit there and let him just say all those things.
TK should have just said, "Whoa, stop, cut the interview," and that was it. And he just let him ramble on. Who fancies themselves as a journalist?
Mm. At least Mindy's Bakery got some cred, like.
Yeah, I don't think that's up for debate. I think Mick's not here this week, so I think Jay Amos, the biggest cunt of 2022 is CM Punk. So yeah, there we go. And let the lesson be learned: you never go full Punk. And I'm saying that you never go full Punk because I am planning on releasing you never go full Punk T-shirt. So if I say it enough times, it might stick in people's head and they might buy the T-shirt. But yes, you never go full Punk.
Never.
Hip-hop. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much so we've done like promo, match, wrestler, female wrestler, breakout star.
I was literally about to say, can we just do a breakout star? Yeah. I can't say his name. Like every time I say his name, I try and do it slowly so I pronounce it properly, but I can't say his name, so bear with me. But it's Takeshita. I can't say his name, so apologies. But the guy is fucking excellent.
His match against Moxley on Rampage last week was freaking awesome. I loved how he kicked out. I fucking hate the move, but I love how he kicked out the Death Rider at one, and Moxley just sold it, man. It was just like, yes.
Guy's got a big future.
He's a big name. I think Bron Breakker. I don't know if he was this year or last year. I don't know if he won the NXT title towards the end of last year. If what he's done this year, but I think Breakker's obviously a talent to look forward to. I think Hook was last year as well, so I can't really say. I think obviously Wardlow's, reached his peak this year, and whether he gets the world title next year at some point.
That would be cool.
But yeah, I think Wardlow's was a good shout for breakout star. I think he's become a single star this year.
I'm trying to think now. Is there anybody else really?
There's guys obviously in it. I want to say like Dexter Lumis and stuff, but they're just going to be the mid-card fodder. It's nice to see him on the main roster.
Yeah.
They're never going to be like up there. I think obviously, Bron Breakker. Walter, I suppose, would obviously be, even though he's been incredible for many, many years.
Yeah, for sure.
It was his breakout year on the main roster.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks. Had a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan. So yeah, he's definitely had a good year.
Jamie Hayter.
Just trying to rack my brain now. Yeah.
I think end of the year she's women's champ. Start of the year she was just muscle, wasn't she? She was just kind of like with Brit. And as the year's gone on, fans have taken to her massive Hayter sections. And yeah, ending of the year as women's champ. It's a very solid 12 months.
Very much so, yeah. Fantastic. I'm trying my best to rack my brain, but it ain't working. So I'm sure when we conclude the episode, I'll be like, "Aha, this person!" It's going to be too late. So anyway, I said Takeshka, and that's the one guy that absolutely needs a shout for me. So
yeah, no, definitely that's maybe a good shout. I'm trying to think WWE, but it all seems to be established names. There doesn't seem to be anybody really jumping out. That's a breakout star.
Well, for me, it's not established names. Again, I'm going to my local guys. Shreddy. Shreddy's had a fucking excellent 2022. He's been in bodybuilding competitions. He's placed in bodybuilding competitions. I think he's won, or he's come in the top 3 in one. He's belt collected as well for this whole year. He's grinded something rotten, and he deserves better recognition. And I mean, the companies he's worked for, they've recognised how much of an effort he's put in to his look, his promos, the way he's marketed himself, his connection with the fans, be it as a heel or a face. And the companies he's worked for has made him his their figurehead. So they put titles on him. He's had 3 or 4 single titles this whole year. And he does what he knows how to do business. If a company wants him to drop a title, he'll drop it, and he'll not make any noise about it. He's a decent bloke.
Very good professional.
Very good professional. Yes, he's a professional. Leon Slater, he's a decent professional as well. As his namesake, Leon Slater, he's had an absolutely fantastic 2022 as well. So those 3 in particular, there's loads more, but those 3 spring to mind as having excellent 2022.
On the British scene, friend of the show, I'd say RPD, Ryan Paul Davies, a former professional boxer turned wrestler, just won his first world title this month, and he's making waves at TNT. It's all sort of Lancashire side, so TNT, Wrestle Island, Odyssey, shows like that. He's kind of hit the ground running, and I've had him on the show a few times, and when he's talking, he's got a genuine love for wrestling. He got into it because he had to retire from boxing, but it wasn't like a backup kind of thing. He's always been a wrestling fan, and he's mates with Regal, Mr. William Regal as well. There's pictures of those two out and about recently because they're both from Blackpool.
Cool.
I think he's had Regal in his ear, critiquing his matches, helping him improve. And I think, this year's been awesome for him, and I think he'll just keep going. So, shout out to RPD as well.
I was new to her name when going into the 1PW show we went to, but since seeing Lizzie Evo, I've gone and watched a few matches. She's really good, man. She's really good. She's got a lot of promise. She's just been out to Dubai with the Progress lot. They've been doing some shows over there, making some money off that World Ting. Or maybe not. Was it Qatar or Dubai? Anyway,
she offers over there as well, wasn't she? I saw it on the Instagram.
Yeah. So she's really cool, and she's interacted with the Instagram a little bit, so that's cool. And yay, Scousers. So yeah,
Scouse love. So, that's it. So, gentlemen, I think that wraps up. I think we can all agree it's been an awesome year for wrestling. There's been a hell of a lot of quality matches. Obviously, the last couple of months, WWE has started curving back up towards more quality products. Like I say, it's not all the way there yet. No, I'm not deluded, but it's making the right changes, and we're seeing benefits. I think wrestlers are wrestlers again. They can actually call themselves wrestlers. We're getting finishes to matches. We're getting a mixed roster of, you got your Braun Strowmans, you got your Bray Wyatts, but you got your Johnny Garganos, your Ricochets. You know what I mean? You're getting. It's not all Vince McMahon guys anymore, as it was. It was looking at for the last couple of years. So yeah, looking good, man. I'm looking forward to the Rumble. We'll see what Cody does when he comes back. That's my big prediction. Cody for the Rumble.
If they've got half a brain, Cody comes back, Cody wins, Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania for one of the titles. It's the most glaring. Yeah. We'll see anyway. They'll probably go some different route. I've also seen reports that they're considering Rock the Dwayne Johnson for.
Well, that's been in talks for the last couple of years, and since they said it was going to be at Hollywood. So, but yeah, me and Ryan have discussed this many a time on a previous podcast about it's an obvious thing, but it doesn't always mean it's best for business.
Yeah, it won't work. I mean, it goes back to that old CM Punk podcast thing. Okay, so he wins. What happens? Who's going to be here on Monday? Is he going to be here on Monday? No, I'm going to be here on Monday. He's going to go back to Hollywood, so it won't work if he wins. So.
Yeah.
But we will see. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I think it makes sense storyline wise for me for Reigns to just destroy The Rock, and that's the final piece of the bloodline puzzle. But cement him as head of the table. But that'll be a future show. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for helping me wrap up the goodness and all the goodies of this year in the wrestling business. Any social shout-outs, plugs?
Yeah, just be on Twitter at Yardy316 and on Facebook and Instagram as
well. At Tanko_Grimoire on Instagram for my personal, and at WTLS was it 316 for the Instagram. God damn, I always have to stutter that moment there just to make sure.
Yeah, and it is WTLS 420 on Twitter, which is what I handle. So, and obviously we're on Facebook as well. Just search for us. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's been awesome, and we will catch up very soon and discuss other stuff.
Sounds good, guys.
Adios.